from growing up in Flint, Michigan to playing linebacker for the Spartans and eventually win 2 Super Bowls, Carl Banks has made a mark in the state of Michigan that will last forever. Before Carl became a football player, he was passionate about the game of basketball. A player he could relate to was power forward Magic Johnson, and he got the chance to take on Magic in a game of 2-on-2 at the Dr. Tucker camp.
And Magic still owes me a gym bag, by the way, because myself and Terrell Burton beat he and Jay Vincent in 2-on-2 basketball. And they had this really nice gym bag that they were supposed to give anybody that beat them. We beat them, but they called like 3 seconds or something like that in the pickup game. So they owe us that bag.
When Carl made the transition to football, one of his coaches said that he would have more opportunities.
That's pretty much how that decision was made. But the interesting thing about it is that I was a football player without a position because I was an offensive tackle and a defensive tackle in high school. So I had to go and learn a position, whatever college I went to. So they were basically offering me a scholarship on my athleticism.
Carl started to get recruited by every top school in the country during his senior year. MSU wasn't really on his mind, but he did accept a visit.
Sherm Lewis asked me to come to campus, and I had probably a 5-minute conversation with Magic. And he was on his way out, but he said, if you come to Michigan State, the people are great, the campus is great, and you'll enjoy your life. And no pipeline from Flint had, kind of formed to Michigan State. It was going to Michigan and other places. So I wanted to be the first, and I have no regrets about it. Magic did not lie. The campus life was just incredible. The people and the memories from Michigan State are just countless.
Once Carl attended MSU, he learned the importance of the rivalry against Michigan and how he wanted to make some sort of impact in that game.
Well, it was big. I mean, I never beat them, but I always wanted to try to make a mark. You know what I mean? And because I personally turned down Bo Schembechler because his whatever recruiter he had didn't think I was worthy of being recruited. So they kind of offered me, you can come visit us and watch a game. We're not going to give you an official visit. And, you can come to Michigan. We'd love to have. I almost made it feel like I was going to be a walk-on or something. So I knew right then I didn't want to be a part of that mess.
As Carl finished out his career at MSU, he was not invited to any of the Senior Bowl games or the NFL Combine. That was until head coach George Perlis came up with an idea.
George was a bit offended by it, that I wasn't on any of those invites. So he said to me, he says, I can get you to a bowl game. It's going to be played on Christmas Day, but you're going to have pro scouts there. And once they see you in this game, there's no doubt in my mind you'll be invited to all the All-Star games and to the NFL Combine. So I was like, okay, Coach, I'll go. And so I go to Birmingham, Alabama, to the Blue-Gray game, and I ended up being the defensive player of the game. And by the time I got home, I went to Coach Perlis' office, and he had every single bowl game and invite to both combines, all the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine game, and it was one other, the Hula Bowl. I got invited to all of those as a result of that.
On the day of the draft, Carl didn't have to wait long to hear his name be announced.
And then on draft day, I ended up being the number 3 player chosen overall, which was just amazing because I was just hoping to get drafted at that point. I really didn't know how I fared among some of the other players, but I was the number 3 player drafted by the New York Giants, and I guess that was supposed to be the good news because I didn't know anything about the Giants. And then I looked it up; they had like 4 All-Pro linebackers. So my work was cut out from day one, but I was okay with that.
As Carl continued his football journey, playing for one of the best linebacking crews in the NFL that had their own name, the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
I don't know who came up with the name. I know I was instrumental in putting together like this poster because the prior regime was called the Crunch Bunch. And then when myself and Gary Reasons and a few other players joined the defense, somehow we came up with the name Big Blue Wrecking Crew. And I had a friend who had a construction company, so he had all of this equipment. And so we decided to shoot this poster, as kind of a demolition crew, which we thought we were. And that's, kind of the birth of the Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Once the 1986 season hit for the Giants, they made it all the way to Super Bowl 21.
Probably didn't enjoy the experience as much as I did, but as much as I could have, but I did enjoy the game as much as I could because I was probably one of the top 2 players on the field that day. And I just wanted to make sure I had my best game because, you always hear, what do you consider your best game? Well, if it's in the biggest game of the year and you have your best game of your career, that's pretty special. And I think that's what happened with me in 1986 at Super Bowl 21.
Entering the 1990 season, the team faced adversity heading into the playoffs, where quarterback Phil Simms would get injured, and then entered backup quarterback Jeff Hostetler.
Already knew what Jeff Hostetler was because we got a chance to practice against the first team defense and the first team and the second team defense. So there was a great deal of confidence in Jeff, and plus we had a really good defense that we could count on. And Jeff just had to go out and relax and play his game. But that was a huge game because Buffalo's defense was really big as well in that Super Bowl. But we felt confident that the defense would do our part, and we just showed Jeff that we had his back.
With the quarterback change, the Giants made it to the NFC Championship game against reigning Super Bowl champs, the San Francisco 49ers, who believed this game was a steal.
No one expected us to win. I mean, San Francisco had already sent their staff and all of their equipment to Tampa because they thought this game was a foregone conclusion, and it was en route three-peat. And we were playing with a chip on our shoulder, and our coach said to us, if you don't plan on packing for 2 weeks, don't get on the plane. And he put a big suitcase in the middle of our meeting room. So at that point, we went there with the objective of winning and leaving there going to Tampa. And that's exactly what happened.
The Giants made it to Super Bowl 25, and they prepared for a talented Buffalo Bills team. The game was close to the very end, and it was left on the foot of Bills kicker Scott Norwood.
That moment was one of those, hey, if he makes this, they deserve to win. Because it was one of those heavyweight slugfests where everybody's throwing their best shots, and we were finally able to get them stopped. And, we stopped him far enough out where he didn't hit the field goal. I mean, and, that also started, and a lot of people don't give this guy credit, but Sean Landeta had a great punt to pin them down and make that drive long for them. So that helped, and then our defense was able to stop him, and then he, had to kick wide right.
Once Carl's football career came to an end, he was inducted into the Giants Ring of Honor and the MSU Athletic Hall of Fame. Even though he is done with football, he still invests his time into the game that he loves.
I'm the color analyst for the Giants broadcast. I do all the Giants football games. And then I have 2 radio shows here, one on Sirius XM, and then the other one on CBS WFAN here in New York. And then I have my apparel business. I'm licensee for all the major sports leagues and colleges, and I own the Starter label, which is one of the more iconic brands in sports. So we do a lot of great merchandise as well. I've been in that business since I started my NFL career, so it's been about 30 years now.
Carl looks back on his football career from MSU to the Giants and how he kept his winning mentality.
You want to leave a positive mark on the program. You don't want to be that guy that came through there that no one liked. But it was tough because we used to get beat a lot, and I hated losing so much they say it builds character, but when you have, such a desire to win, I was a winner in high school. We won a lot in high school, and then I go to Michigan State. We didn't win a lot of anything. And, and I was angry after every game. I was just miserable. But yet I kept getting there every week and giving 100% in hopes that, my efforts would be contagious and spark my teammates. But that attitude helped me when I got to the NFL because I approached the NFL with a winning attitude.